Hello everyone, a new crisis in Colombia. Is the tour going well? I know you are as curious as I am about the scandalous trip of Harry and Meghan. In this trip of theirs, I see similarities with the trip to Nigeria not long ago. This time, it seems like things are starting to react more strongly because the horse is familiar with the old ways. Don't expect too much. Those greedy people will never change. Harry and Meghan. You would have hoped that this could have been, well, something of a turnaround, especially given the previous CBS interview that was a complete and utter failure. You know, the one on the Sunday morning where they were there to set up yet another incentive all about tackling online bullying, which was a little bit laughable when you think, because time and time again we're told, of course, by the royal couple that they don't do social media, which we know is far-fetched from the truth, because Meghan has at least 7, to my knowledge, social media accounts. In spite of this, I couldn't help but grin when I thought of Harry's recent tour in Colombia. He made it clear to the crowd that his children do not use social media, which made me laugh out loud. To put it simply, they are 5 and 3. I mean, I'm not trying to be nasty, but other than watching anything, I don't see how they could possibly be on social media at that level. Does it make sense to you what I'm saying? It is intriguing to think about, isn't it? As the former royals continue their career through their most recent endeavor, of course with the intention of attempting to attract some level of attention, it would appear that things are not going according to plan. In point of fact, I find this to be rather peculiar because, as you may be aware, Harry and Meghan complain about the invasion of privacy, the media intrusion. In addition, I have been informed that they are suffering as a result of the unexpected removal, dismissal, or departure of Josh Settler, or whatever you like to call it. There was no doubt that he was their main officer of whatever it was, and it appeared that he was going to be the one to organize this trip in order to ensure that it was a tremendous success. It is now common knowledge that he departed a few days earlier, or it may be referred to in any other way. The narrative has been thrown into some turmoil as a result of this, with Meghan Markle reportedly taking control of her own affairs and operating separately from the rest of the cast and crew. Absolutely, it is an interesting thought, isn't it? On the other hand, as I mentioned before, they are quite anxious about the fact that they did not make any of the top pages in the United Kingdom. That was something that Harry, in particular, was concerned about since, of course, we had other things to worry about. Here we have the aftermath of the riots, the crises caused by the rising cost of living, strikes, and rail strikes. More and more people are becoming worried with mundane matters. The problem is that it is just not occurring anywhere in the globe, even in places where they would ordinarily be able to pick up top-page covers. Now, it would appear that the underlying reason for this is, of course, due to the fact that Harry and Meghan are actually experiencing some kind of toxicity in their own lives. You can see that the pair is experiencing a lot of strain. A person who is physically working out there tells me that behind the scenes, it is really tense, and they are very much switching to character the moment that they step onto the procession or out into the public realm. This is something that I have confirmed. Meghan, of course, needs to remind Harry to take her hand at various points in time. There is a possibility that this will have components of a prior royal trip in which everyone was aware of the fact that those two senior royals were not the greatest of friends. This is going to be a fascinating development in the future because of this possibility. The picture is clear to you. But aside from that, do you think Harry and Meghan's relationship is not happy, not passionate anymore? I feel like there is something strange about their attitude towards each other. Do you feel that way? If you think they are on the verge of breaking up, comment number 1. Otherwise, if you think they are still happy, comment number 2. On the other hand, everything that Harry and Meghan are going through right now is dependent on this. Moreover, as the saying goes, they are not interested in the national newspapers. Specifically, they are looking for a journalist who covers grassroots issues. They do not, as is evident. Moreover, it goes without saying that they were really displeased with the particular narrative that is currently making its way around the internet. This particular tale is about the fact that Meghan was required to have a translator since she was using an earpiece, having stated that it goes without saying that she was completely proficient in the language used in that nation. Based on the information provided by their staff, it appears that all of this occurred because Prince Harry is not, and she desired for him to be able to comprehend. You are currently witnessing this complicated mess that is developing when there is no one in charge of directing the narrative. When they return from this specific fake royal trip, it will be fascinating to see how they feel about it and whether or not they consider it a success. This is something that will definitely be intriguing to see. At the end of the first day, it would appear that things are not going according to plan. There is a surprise right now. Besides, in my opinion, when the family offered Harry advice to go slow, typically Harry did it his way to spite the family. Remember, the rest don't know who they are and don't really care. Colombians are speaking out, and they are not happy with their visit. The fake tour will probably be on the cover of Harkle's Bazaar. They are just awful. It seems they tried to make themselves relevant and visible in the public eye by latching on to serious issues like online bullying. Like her 40x40 publicity stunt, there will not be any meaningful, concerted follow-up on this issue. There is not a single sincere bone in either of them. A couple of fraudsters. Whatever they are paying you, enjoy it while you can, because it will not last. They are running out of money. Oops. In particular, Harry obviously doesn't remember how old his alleged children are supposed to be. Neither of them are able to talk about their children as normal parents do. They don't seem to understand what the age markers are and what children of that age do, like how they behave, etc., etc. There is no warmth either. No wonder we wonder about the children. I understand the desire for privacy, but secrecy is another thing. You can have privacy for your children, but still talk about them lovingly. This lack of love and empathy is disturbing. After what they do, don't blame others when everyone claims that impossible that there are any children with them. Every single person who has been involved with them has said they have never seen children or evidence of children. Impossible to live this way. They cannot be raising children. Supposing that their children do exist, how many nannies have they gone through? They've lost 18 staff members in 6 years. The bully report is true. Looking at the two of them in Colombia, honestly, is just plain painful. Her teeth hang out at every turn, trying to make it seem as if all is good. Harry is wondering, where are the good drugs? Not only is it painful, it is pitiful. Harry says, I and my wife aren't on social media. Do they think we are stupid? They are on social media with dozens of accounts, and they read and watch everything. How else do they know social media is bad? Touring poor countries and exploiting them to make themselves relevant is utterly unacceptable. Using them to elevate themselves as people of importance in countries that don't like nor will never accept them. Game over. You're toast. Exactly. The Harkles deserve nothing but failure after failure due to their cruelty to others. Liars do not deserve any success. I think it is likely the Colombians are furious at their arrival, which taxpayers are footing the bill when for one day she made 3 outfit changes at a cost of $72,000 already marched on her website. The Colombians' comments are priceless. They hate the pair of them. In fact, imagine how much clothing, food, and shelter for the families in need in that country. They are disgusting. Do you think that she has no significant events to parade her expensive outfits in the US? So she is taking this opportunity to show off? She even wears all her jewelry on parking lot walks. The Colombian powers that be are disgraceful for allowing this farcical tour to happen. I hope it really backfires on Meghan and Harry, as well as the Colombian authorities. To be honest, I have zero interest in keeping up with this self-aggrandizing, pretentious tour. They are shaming themselves, I'm sure. Don't they always? But they're too in love with themselves to know it. They look silly walking around with no position, talent, or power to offer anyone. I am bored with them, but waiting for the final closure. Hopefully, beautiful Catherine will be healthy enough for some engagements in the fall. Someone should invite Megs on their show and without telling her, start speaking to her in Spanish, and we can all see how fluent she is. They are becoming more and more like a joke for everyone to watch and entertain. Michael Buble's wife was speaking Spanish to Meghan, and Meghan didn't understand a word she was saying. So no, she doesn't understand Spanish or speak it. Harry didn't even know what he was talking about on stage. It was so embarrassing I had my hand over my face and just wanted it to be over. And yes, both their noses were very bunged up, especially hers, and I think goes some way to explaining why he made no sense. And then the camera panned around to the audience, and they were bored, stiff, and I think everyone was a little embarrassed. It's obvious they aren't together anymore. They should be chained, instead of letting them act so recklessly. It's so humiliating to humanity. I wonder how such people can exist in this world. What about you? What do you think about the issues I just discussed with you? Please share with me in the comments section. Especially, don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye, and see you again.